In the 16th century, artists from Paolo Veronese's workshop produced several versions of this story. I'm interested in this painting because of its drama. The story is of a Roman centurion asking Jesus to heal his favourite servant. It's a story not so much about the nature of healing as is often interpreted. No, this is a political story about how faith in Jesus challenges human ideas of power. It's a story that takes the two main people groups in the Gospels, the Romans and the Jews, and bends both of their knees before Jesus. It radically equalises social strata. The Jewish elders, the centurion and the slave have no answer to the illness, and driven by this powerlessness, they collide into one desperate will, which is for Jesus to profoundly act. Zooming in on a centurion's posture, it looks clumsy and almost like he's fallen into kneeling. I tried to posture out myself, and while I was still stable, my top half was thrust forward and felt vulnerable. This is kneeling in humble petition rather than simple reverence. He discards his power to make himself lower than the Christ. His shield is flat and useless on the ground in front of him, with the central spike ominously pointing at his heart. Two of his legion are awkwardly trying to save the centurion's dignity, but it seems to have all happened so quickly. On the left of the painting, the disciples huddle behind Jesus, and St. Peter stands protective of his body while looking down his nose in disgust. Remember, this is the man who later in Gethsemane didn't hesitate to draw his sword against the Roman soldiers. The whole movement of the painting is a decrescendo, starting large with a towering Jesus using his arms to direct our attention. Rather than pointing with his finger, which singles the subject out, it is with two arms, gathering everyone to be part of the observation. It's a warm gesture inviting us to engage where Jesus says, this is what I'm talking about. Follow the lines in the painting and see how everything points to the humbled centurion. The lines of the decrescendo converge around the head of a disinterested horse. Those on the left supposedly have greatest faith, in the centre those who supposedly have least faith, and then to the right, an animal incapable of faith. So this story tells of how the Roman Empire, when renouncing its power and is on its knees before Jesus, that this is exemplifying faith at work. The centurion acknowledges his limits, saying, I have power over people in my authority, but Jesus, you have power over all.